Welcome back to Spotlight ETSU. Thanks for joining us. Here we have Dr. Joe Moore, Director of the Athletic Bands here at the university. That covers the football, that covers the marching band for football, correct?
Yes.
And you said pep band for
Yes.
basketball?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Does it cover anything else, or is it those two main?
Those are the main components. Sometimes we have some other service things that we do. Like we provided a small group for the recent Veterans Day ceremony, and of course we'll march in the Johnson City Christmas Parade. So we do a few community things as well.
Very cool. So first off, then, tell us about your background. Where do you come from? What your education background looks like? For example, I'm curious. You're an athletic band director and you're a doctor. So what kind of education leads up to that? Those two things. So when I think doctor, I think of literature or of course medicine.
Right.
So I never really thought about that with a band director.
Right.
So what's involved in that?
Well, I actually did my undergraduate here at ETSU.
Okay.
I was actually a drum major for the marching band here when I was a student.
Through.
Yeah. So I've kind of come back home. I left there and taught public school, high school band for about 16 years, different schools, a couple of schools in the region and up in Virginia and in Georgia. I took some time out and got my master's in music at the University of Miami in Florida. And then most recently, I got, my doctorate is actually a performance degree, so it's a doctorate in band conducting that I got from the University of Kentucky. So that led to moving from teaching public school to teaching at the university level. So I was at Delta State University as the director of bands there in Mississippi before I came here to ETSU.
Okay, very cool. So it's all just music through and through.
Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you this. The band, one of the extraordinary things it's done so far, or that you've done, I don't know how you look at it, is that you guys are up early. You're up and you're going at it early. So how was that, how was that achieved? I talked to Dr. Nolan one time, and he told me about how the band was not scheduled for next year, I believe.
Right.
And you guys tried to, you had a goal of getting a smaller band together by this time, and you exceeded even that.
Yes.
So how did you get that going?
Well, the original plan was that the marching band would be in place by next fall. This year was originally just supposed to be a pep band that sat in the stands and played at the football games. And the intent was that when we put a marching band on the field in 2016, that it would be around 100 members. But we had so much interest, and I was able to get out and visit a lot of schools and do a lot of recruiting. And we started running into students who said, that this year would be their last year and it would be their only chance to march. And we realized we had enough interest that we could put a full marching band on the field this year. And so we sort of sped up the process, and it was a lengthy process, to design the uniforms and get them ready. We normally would have had much more time, but we put a full band on the field of 164 members for the first year out, and really it's just a testament to the students and their desire and willingness. So
it was originally planned to be 100 members next year,
yes.
And you're a year ahead with 160.
Yes.
That's
yeah,
that's really incredible.
It's a phenomenal group of students.
I guess that's a testament to just the community in general around ETSU and ETSU.
Very supportive. We have a lot of ETSU alumni who are area band directors, who were excited to see the band come back, and a lot of students, they do this through their high school career, and it's something they love and they don't want to give up, so they want to be able to continue in college. And so we actually have some students that chose to come to ETSU because the marching band came back.
So it's become an attractive thing to the university too,
yes.
Not just the people that are already here.
Right.
Very cool. So what are your plans then to grow the band in the future? What do you see in terms of maybe numbers or what you can do, funding, different things like that?
Well, the national average for a college marching band is 1% of the total school enrollment. So, if we were at the national average, we would be around 140 or 150 in the marching band. So, our first year out, we exceeded that.
Yeah.
We just recognized our seniors at the last football game, and we have 11 seniors who marched their last show with us. Right now, I have an online registration form for interested potential students, and I haven't even really pushed that yet, but we already have about 70 names of potential recruits for next year. And so I think our numbers will go up. It's going to depend on a lot of things, the time of day that the class is scheduled, so that it doesn't conflict with other classes. We do actually have, I think, 7 or 8 Northeast State students who are marching with us this year. Since Northeast State doesn't have a band, they're able to sign up as a class here and take the class here. So that's something we would love to see increase as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's just an agreement between the two schools.
Yeah,
Very cool.
Yeah, it's through admissions, and they actually, they register as a, I'm not sure of all the details, but they register for the class here and are able to do that because they don't have that offering there at Northeast.
Very cool. So when it comes to the band next year, is it possible that it could become smaller? Depending on the interest, or is it a set number that it'll definitely be around 160 still? I don't know. Does that sort of fluctuate?
It fluctuates. I think definitely the potential is there for it to increase, even possibly substantially. Again, if we have to move the time of day or the days of the week that it meets, that could impact numbers. Just because of class conflicts and things of that nature.
So this might be a weird question, but I'm curious. Does a bigger band necessarily mean better? Could it be, is it a good thing if you have a bigger band? Because 160, to me, somebody who's uneducated in the area of music and bands, 160, that sounds like a large number of people, especially in all the uniforms, equipment. So in general, could that be a good thing? Is it, necessarily a good thing?
I think by the time they're at the university level, they've all marched for at least 4 years in high school, and possibly some even longer. So they're pretty experienced coming in. So the level of quality is high. So I think a larger number just continues to increase the quality of the overall program.
Does it increase what you can do in terms of projects, shows, things of that nature?
It can get to the point that you have too many people and you're limited to where you can move and things like that. But I've seen university bands of 500 that are very effective. So it's really not a concern for us at this point.
So there's plenty of room to keep going.
Yes, plenty of room for growth.
Very cool. Okay, so let me ask you about this, kind of a change of gears. Competitions. So of course, football is obviously a competition every time they get on the field. But what about band? I remember in high school, they were marching band competitions and such. Is there something of that nature for collegiate bands?
There really isn't at the college level, and that's the thing that a lot of incoming students sort of miss about their band experience. But one way we sort of counteract that, we try to go to some of the regional high school marching competitions and do exhibitions. We went to 2 this year. We went to Sullivan Central and to Science Hill and performed our show just before their awards ceremony. So it was a very appreciative audience, but it gave our students a chance to perform, and some of them go back to the school they graduated from and perform again. So that's definitely one of the highlights of our season.
That sounds like a lot of fun. So how can a student get involved in the band? Now, of course, they can be in the band, but how does a student go about the process of saying, hey, I'm interested, what can I do? Can I even do this in the first place? Can a student even be in the band if they didn't do it in high school? What's the process of getting involved?
Especially at this point and with our limited rehearsal time, prior experience is necessary. To get involved, we have a web page through the university, and on that web page we have an online interest form that students can fill out their information that puts them in a database, and every time we have an update or we have events coming up, then we contact them and let them know about that event. We do have some marching band scholarships that are available that students can audition for. But basically, if they would just contact me if they're interested, then I can put them in touch. We have instrumentalists. We have the drum line, which is pretty competitive to be a part of. We also have our color guard and our majorette squads, which students can audition for.
Okay. So what's the name of the website?
If they go to etsu.edu/marchingbucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. So another question about the band and football. How do you set yourself apart from football? Of course, football has a very huge identity all in its own, especially in the South and in Tennessee. So how do you set yourself apart from the football program when they're usually tied together? People think marching band. I doubt many people think marching band without thinking football. So how do you create your own unique identity that doesn't, try to push away from football, but still says, hey, we're our own thing.
Right. I'm not sure that we really want to be separated from it. My philosophy is that our purpose is to create and contribute to the game day atmosphere, as well as entertain the crowd at halftime. So, for instance, our shows are a little different than what a high school marching show would be. They're geared to be very competitive and sometimes very almost esoteric, whereas what we want to do is we want to entertain the crowd. We still want to provide a vehicle that our band students and future band directors who are in the band, have a good learning experience. But really, I think contributing to the game day atmosphere for the fan and supporting the team, and then entertaining the crowd at pregame and halftime are really our main goals. So I think as far as establishing an identity, it's just through our quality and our enthusiasm.
So it just sounds like it's a completely different set of goals. Then it's not even, there's no need to kind of separate yourself. Right. I'm happy where it's at. So, well, since we're running short on time, let me ask you this question. What's your favorite instrument? I don't think I can be a musician without asking what's your favorite instrument, especially when you have probably a decent knowledge of a lot of them.
Well, I mean, they're all vital. I guess the instrument that everybody associates the most with is percussion or drums. I mean, when I was joining band, I wanted to be a drummer because I think that's just what every little kid wants to do.
Yeah,
I ended up playing
drums and the pots and pans.
I ended up playing trumpet, and I was very happy with that. But definitely, even if you listen to commercials and soundtracks and things, that's the thing that's most prevalent is you hear percussion, you hear the rhythm, because it's just a very natural thing.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us here for Spotlight ETSU. This is Dr. Joe Moore, and I'm Stephen Jansen.